Well, I think one of the things that's interesting is because it's always said, it's always sounds like in a derogatory way about he's outspent them by so much. He's outspent them by so much because he has the ability to raise that amount of money. And that's what it takes to run for president. I think what will be even more interesting when Romney becomes a candidate, which I believe that he will be, is how much Obama's going to be able to spend. Because you know, that's tough competition. There's great organization. That's going to be two great political candidates.
Right. And Tony, what do you think about, a lot of people are looking at Mitt Romney and talking about some of the comments that he made about being in the South and that he was pandering about eating catfish and shooting guns. Did you see?
Don't think I did see that. I mean, they all pander. I mean, my goodness, here in New York City, you know, former Governor Rockefeller, a very wealthy man, used to do what they called the Rockefeller Shuffle, where he would walk around the neighborhoods of New York and he'd eat from street vending carts and he'd show people the bottom of his shoes, which were, you know, filled with holes because of how much pavement he pounded. That's the art of politics. I can't think we should, to Eric's point, vain outrage when you see a candidate spend money, or get media ads, or
right.
actually pretend to try to connect with
or
voters.
Have catfish, or ride on the subway when you're in New York.
I think he would. I think at this point also Mitt Romney would be criticized if he refused to have catfish. So you know, there's obviously all an artful aspect to this process. I think though Carl Cameron points out to something very, very important. At the end of the day, this is all about delegates. And here is the little dirty secret that no one has understood about this primary race as opposed to past Republican races. We changed the rules in August to match those of the Democrats. If you remember, in 2008, what state put Barack Obama over? None. It was the superdelegates. They make it almost impossible to get enough delegates via the primary and caucus process because the party leaders, the elders, want to have the final say to make sure the right candidate is nominated. And that's exactly what's happening here. And in these contests, though, Romney not only is doubling Rick Santorum, he has more delegates than all of the other candidates combined. And that does not look like it's going to change. So I think Romney is in a very strong position to make the case that should things continue on this current projection, he is going to become the nominee in fairly quick order.
But you know, that whole notion of the delegates and how it all is since we changed the rules, one, great education for anybody who follows politics to understand how that is. And the math is the math. I mean, the numbers right now, if you look at the numbers, strip everything else out of it, I don't see how Romney can lose.
I agree.
And let's talk about Newt Gingrich for a moment, because I want to play a little back and forth here. I'm sure we've been talking about the gas price issue. A lot of people who have out on the street, voters, very concerned about the rise of gas prices. Newt Gingrich promising, or at least saying, that he thinks he can get the prices down to $2.50 a gallon. Let's listen to this exchange between Jay Carney and Newt Gingrich on this issue.
This president is absolutely committed to reducing, to doing everything we can to mitigate the effect of high gas prices on American families and to lower gas prices. What he is not willing to do is to look the American people in the eye and claim that there is a strategy by which he can guarantee the price of gas will be $2.50 at the pump. Any politician who does that is lying.
I want to take this moment to respond to the President and to his press secretary and say, first of all, Mr. President, I would be happy to debate you anywhere in the country, anytime, on energy. I believe your energy speeches have been so patently incoherent that they are indefensible. I'd be glad to meet you at a oil rig somewhere. I'd be glad to meet you at a refinery. I'd be glad to meet you at a gas station. I'd even be willing to go to a university campus where you'll feel comfortable. But and I would be happy in advance to agree that you can use a teleprompter.
You know, in some respects, it sounds like he's calling him out to the bike racks after school. You know, a little bit. So when you hear that exchange and about this idea of the $2.50 a gallon price, what do you guys think?
Well, one is I don't take Newt seriously, but I think he does. I think he's a great orator. I thought that was great. Yeah, he's calling out the president. He's not really even competing against the president, but he makes it out like he is by calling out the president. You know, there's a substantial time lag between when we adopt new policies and the impact that they have on the market. So it's not like anybody can do something today and it's going to change. Some of the things that are happening with gas prices, some that are good are not because of Obama, they're because of Bush. Some of the things that are bad are not because of Obama, they're because of Bush. So there is a time differential. It's not like the president's going to make a decision today and prices are going to be affected tomorrow. And it is going to be an election issue, definitely. Costs more money to fill up our tanks. We don't like it.